Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV now on YouTube, and this is the last of the top story segment for the year of 2019 at least. We join you on the last day of the year, last day of the decade. And if you look back at 2019, if there's one story that has really captured everybody's imagination, united the country like never before, got even Indian citizens all spread all across the world talking about this one matter, one issue. It has been the Citizenship Amendment Act. And that's perhaps the reason why even on the last day, on the 31st of December 2019, the most votes in our top story segment have gone to these protests. Look at that. 72% of you want to know more about the night and day protests against citizenship law that continue to happen. And apart from that, on a day like this, when lots of people are making party plans, New Year Eve's plan, look what the protesters are doing. I found this poster that it's going to put out for you now. The most interesting of the flyers or banners or posters we've seen so far. If you come a little closer, you'll see this. It says 2020 New Year party being held at Shaheen Bagh. It talks about how the entry is free and it's been organized by humanity. It says humanity presents the 2020 New Year party at Shaheen Bagh. Shake a leg, or one of the songs of freedom. Get high on the spirit of equality and relish the rich taste of justice. All this at Shaheen Bagh. Now, why is Shaheen Bagh so special? Let me show you some visuals from there as well. Now, this is what has been happening at Shaheen Bagh for several days now. Women, more women, hundreds and thousands of women, and also kids who've all gathered in this bone-chilling cold of the national capital and continue to sit on the streets, continue to protest over there, continue to sing songs, recite poetry, read out the Constitution and the preamble, all in the spirit of what they say is required for the country at this time. Now, from the 25th of December onwards, from Christmas onwards, all the way to now the 31st, and also moving forward, these women have been leading the protests at Shaheen Bagh in the national capital. They say that most of them are homemakers, are housewives, are mothers, some very young mothers who came and who've been sitting on the streets with their kids along with them, feeding them, teaching them, tutoring them, all on the road. And they believe that while the men go out to work and it's important for them to earn their daily bread, it is perhaps important upon them, important as a woman and is important as perhaps mothers and sisters and wives, to ensure that they push forward the fight for the Citizenship Amendment Act and fight for the constitution of the country. Now, they've been sitting here in a very unique format. Some of them take breaks. They sit in shifts, like you and I work in shifts at time. Well, journalists, not I really, because journalists don't have any shifts. We are pretty much working round the clock. But as most of you work in shifts, they protest in shifts. They come, a set of them come in the morning. Then the overnight ones, the women who've been sitting overnight can go back home, do their household chores, finish that up and then come back. Then the mid shift of women, they go back home, they finish their household chores and they come back and join again. That's how this entire cycle has been working, and that's how, very peacefully mind you, they've managed to hold this protest for such a long time, and they say they're not moving from there till the time a complete rollback of CAA happens. So protests are happening here at Shaheen Bagh, 31st December, when everybody wants to let their hair down, party a little. The urge and the voice from Shaheen Bagh is that come join us, come party with us, and we'll celebrate the festival of democracy. We'll celebrate the festival of the constitution of the country. So that's the word coming in from Shaheen Bagh. Apart from that, there are protests being held in places like Bengaluru, where outside IIT in Bangalore, students and faculty members, some regular citizens as well, are standing in a peaceful protest and in a silent protest. No sloganeering over there. It's a very silent protest where they sit around a little lamp. And they say it's going to be a vigil protest, and they have lit up the lamp of democracy. They say they're going to sit around it and ensure that it keeps burning. They're going to do this all the way up to the 1st of January, 6:30 p.m. It's a 3-day vigil. And some very interesting voices came from there. My colleague Maya Sharma was there last evening as well, and she spoke with an expectant mother. You can catch all those details on ndtv.com as well, by the way. Log on to ndtv.com and look for the report. You'll find it there, where she says that I know it's the time when I should be taking care of myself, but it's important for the future of my child to be born in a country which is more democratic, where there is freedom of thought, freedom of ideas, and a country which is on the lines of how it was founded back in 47. And she talks about it, and along with that, there are several students sitting over there, some faculty members as well, who all say that they're sitting in personal capacity. It's got nothing to do with the campus at all. It's got nothing to do with what other IIT campuses have been doing, where protests, some of them went a little violent as well. Students had to be removed. And here they say they'll sit just quietly, not shout any slogans, not sing any songs, just quietly around a vigil in what they say is protecting the flame of democracy. That's happening at Bengaluru. Apart from that, on social media, very unique protests of sorts have come up. There have been jingles, there have been songs, and one special one really touched all our hearts. And in fact, let me not talk about it, let me make you listen to it. This one by Naseeruddin Shah and T.M. Krishna.
वयं भारतस्य जनाः हम भारत के लोग, हम हिंद की आवाम, we the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic, and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution.
So that beautiful, that you saw the preamble being read out there in the voice of Naseeruddin Shah. Then he goes on, it leads into the national anthem, and this one by T.M. Krishna. And several of these artists have been doing their own bit. You can do your own bit as well. And they've all been putting out stuff online, speaking and voicing their opinion, which they believe the time has come to do so on social media, on several other platforms really. So wherever we have been, coming back to the first line really on how we began this segment today and this broadcast, it is, if this year will be known for something, it will be the CAA. If there will be one single largest resistance seen, at least so far in the Modi government, it is this. It has been seen as India's youthquake movement, where the young in the country took the lead and decided to lead from the front in what many are saying is raising the consciousness of the nation. So that's been on the minds, but it's not only on the 31st. I in fact have one more invite by the same group of people actually on the 1st. And this one is also coming in from New Delhi, where we're expecting this. If you come in closer, you'll be able to see this one as well on the 1st of January. The new year also begins with resistance towards CAA, and 2020 also people hope will be talked about in this context as well. But as protests continue on the ground, BJP also has their own outreach going on in 2020. 2020 is beginning for the BJP with an outreach to try and what they say is spread the right message of the CAA and the NRC and the NPR amongst the people. It all started with the first tweet by Prime Minister acknowledging this movement really, And he said that I support CAA because of the following reasons, because it is only for the persecuted minorities in other countries, in the 3 countries mentioned, and not about people in India losing their citizenship at all. And what he's done is, he's now, as the year begins, from January 1st to January 15, there will be a long list, a roster of sorts created amongst the top leadership of the BJP and the government as well, from Home Minister, Defence Minister, Finance Minister. All of them will now be carrying out rallies, press conferences, and several other formats in which they will bring out the message of the Modi government on the issue of CAA to the people. So the new year, as we get into it, is all about CAA one more time. We leave it up to you to decide, really, which way you're swinging. Well, with that, it's a wrap from 2019 on our YouTube segment, on our top stories segment from us. Stay tuned to NDTV for all the latest details, and we'll see you now in 2020. Bye-bye.